It brings me great honor to welcome to the stage Lana Parrilla.
Montreal, I love this city. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Hi, Jason.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. I'm going to sit down.
So, how many times do people mispronounce your name?
All the time.
Someone
actually came up to me today, got an autograph, and called me Lana.
Lana?
Or they call me Lana. It's la 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 la.
It's, I know a lot of people are here because of Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
But you've been on some of my favorite shows.
Oh, really? Tell me.
You've been on the list. You were on 6 Feet Under.
I was.
6 Feet Under to me is one of the greatest shows ever made.
I agree.
I named my son Nathan after Nathaniel.
Oh, wow.
After that character.
Yeah.
So, and you were on 24 as well. Now I know that the majority of people know you from Once Upon a Time, but when you're on those shows and you're with some of those casts, what is it like?
Well,
I mean, especially, let me just ask specifically,
yes.
What was it like to be on Lost?
I was just gonna So, I am a huge fan of Lost because, I started watching it because, a couple reasons. One, I auditioned. Clearly didn't get it. And my friend Jorge Garcia was on it. So Jorge and I have known each other since I was about 18 years old. And we studied together, and we all support each other. When anyone got a show or a movie, we would all support them. So I started watching the show because of Jorge. And then I auditioned for that show probably 4 times and never got a part. And then auditioned for one part and got cast in another part. So I show up, now a fan, and I'm in the wardrobe room and I'm looking at all the character names in your clothes, and I kind of geeked out. And started smelling Sawyer's shirts. I mean, I'm not alone in that, right? If you were near his shirts, what would you be doing? Smelling them.
Between Sawyer and Kate. I think people were covered on that.
Exactly. So I totally fangirled over Sawyer shirts, and then I learned how to surf. I learned how to surf on that show. And 24 was a show that I loved as well, because a girlfriend of mine got cast in the first season, and I started watching it, and the whole premise and concept was something we'd never seen before, and I love Kiefer. And so when I booked, again, auditioned for a different role and got casted. It happens to me a lot.
It's funny when you think of 24, because 24, as far as I can remember, 24 was one of the first shows that I binge watched.
Yes.
I think it was I don't know if it was the introduction of binge watching, but a lot of people binge watched 24 because you couldn't just watch one episode. It was the kind of show that you would buy on Blu-ray or on DVD, because we were talking about physical media before, and you would just plow through that show. So it's funny when you look back and you figure, we never really binge watched before, but that was a show that you just couldn't.
Yeah, that was the beginning stages of this kind of storytelling, binge watching. I also remember, and this is funny, picking out my wardrobe because it's going to be the same wardrobe for the entire season. So you're like, oh my God, there's a lot of pressure here. Do I want to wear a skirt? Do I want to wear pants? I can never change. So I went with the skirt, which then I regretted later as the winter months approached us.
Because that show, it shot in...
It shot in...
Did it shoot in Canada?
No, they shot in no, it was...
No, 24.
It was Los Angeles, but it was not Calabasas, off the 118.
Right.
No one knows what that means, but I weirdly do. Take the 5 to the 118, and then you get off somewhere. Next to the place you can get cheap tires at.
Yeah.
Remember that?
you know, your character on Once Upon a Time isn't actually the nicest person in the world.
What do you mean?
Well, but you
Judgments.
But you seem so sweet in real life. Where do you go?
Do I?
Where do you go to get that?
My sweetness?
No, you do
Gelato. Where do I go to get, like, to bring out the evil?
Yeah. Bring out the evil.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Yes.
It's like, please
Sorry.
tell me.
No, but really.
I try not to make any judgments about any character I play, and I try to understand the psychology behind their actions. And so, therefore, I think it makes me a much more compassionate person in the world overall, because we're so quick to judge. But when you're portraying characters like this, you can't come from that place. So I try to understand the psychology behind her evil ways and justify them. She has some good reason to want to hurt people. And we all forgive her for it. It's amazing.
Well, that's it. You're very loving people.
I always have to tell people, you guys love her, but do you know she slaughtered village after village after village, and everyone's like, we know! I love her! Okay.
It's funny because I've been working with the show for a while, and I'm always privy to, you know, knowing when guests are going to be announced. And when you were announced, our social media, I think you were the most liked post and the most commented.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that!
Really excited in Montreal that you're here again tonight.
Well, thank you. I'm really happy to be here. I spent a lot of time here. I did a movie here probably 12 years ago. And yeah. And it was a Lifetime. It was a Lifetime movie that I did. And it was during the summer, so it was during all the music festivals and what is it?
Just for Laughs?
Just for Laughs. And so I met one of my best friends to this day here, and I used to get on her scooter and scoot around the city and find the best burgers in town, and there are some damn good burgers in this town.
Did you get to try Montreal Bagel?
Oh yes,
okay.
And I have to bring some home to my aunt and uncle, so
yes.
That's what I'm doing Monday morning.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, look, I know there's a lot of people here.
And I'm from New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm like a diehard. Nothing's better than New York. Okay. Like the bagels here are off the charts.
You know, I was recently in New York and I had a bagel, and I think the reason why the New York bagel works is because you've got more surface for the smear. So you can put more cream cheese, but the Montreal bagel taste is just out of this world.
It really is.
I know what I'm bringing you tomorrow. I'm bringing you bagels.
My foot's stomping. That's how bad it wants a bagel. My foot wants a bagel. It's like, give me. If anyone has a bagel, please leave it on my autograph table. Thank you.
You don't want to say that here. You don't want to say
Why?
that.
Because you're going to have piles of bagels.
You're going to have to get another piece of luggage for your
Well,
bagel.
that's what it'll be.
All right. We're going to open up the floor to questions.
Oh gosh, that part. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you guys want to ask anything, go ahead. Please, just be respectful. And I know you guys will. So
Yes.
nice. Such a Canadian
Let's
thing.
start. I know. You first. No, you first. No, you first. You first. No, you first. Please, go on in the room. Hi.
Question. I wrote it down. Hi.
Hi.
So you've played a lot of different versions of the same character. What's your acting process like? Do you think about it a lot? Is it very method? Is it more like on the spot?
I just wing it.
Physicality? Are you like more like, oh, like I want to think how they sound first? Like how do you approach acting?
That's a very long answer, as I've been doing this for about 25 years. And it just changes every time. So it's, I try to make strong choices. I think that's really important. And it depends on your method. If you're a young, aspiring actress, I would say study different forms of acting and different methods and see what fits right. I'm kind of a melting pot of everything I've learned. And so it just depends. I am curious and interested And so that, therefore, the curiosity and interest take me down all these different paths of exploration and wanting to, you know, bring more to the character. And on once I was able to do that because you're right, I played like 10 versions of her. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. That's this short answer. Hi.
Hello. Sorry, I'm reducing.
It's okay.
You just said you are a method actor. I've heard you say a lot of the times that you really devote yourself to your craft. So, what is it like having fans and fans like this for someone who went into the job for the love of the job and not for love of fame?
It was an evolution. I started acting not because I wanted to be famous, not because I wanted a giant fandom. I started acting because I love the craft. And with that comes all this. And so it's like a learning curve. It's something that happened gradually, and experiencing the fandom and getting to know them over the years by doing these Comic-Cons, it's become something else. It's become this beautiful gift and wonderful experience, and I love getting to know the fans and hearing their stories, and in hearing their stories, it's inspired me, and it's also changed my approach to, not so much to acting, but, you know, thinking of like, what parts can I play that will continue to inspire? And I don't know how many roles are going to give me that opportunity, because I might play someone that won't inspire, and that's okay too, that's the craft. But this one in particular, Regina, really touched the hearts of so many, and that is new for me and also really awesome. Yes, just, it's like the gift of the job was already so beautiful and wonderful, and then this on top of it is just like nothing I could have imagined. So thank you. Hi. You look amazing.
Thank you so much.
Everyone's look at the queen.
Right?
So this is a big All right, so my question is a bit of a creative one. So I was wondering, without spoiling too much of season 7 for those who haven't seen it, what if Ronnie, as her cursed version, was to meet Regina from Storybrooke? What do you think would ensue?
I think Ronnie would really give her a hard time. Oh, get over yourself. You know, get out of those pantsuits and into a pair of sweatpants. I think Ronnie was more laid back. I think Ronnie's more like me. I'm more kind of like, yeah, whatever, cool, everything's cool. Regina's very uptight. So I think she would probably wanted to have a beer with Regina, and I think Regina would be like, I'll just take scotch on the rocks. I think they should play poker.
Settle the Henry issue with poker, maybe?
Nah. Ani doesn't know she even has a son, so she's completely... Now, if she were awake, she eventually became awake. Oh, shoot. I'm lying. That didn't happen. Oops.
We gave them a year, it's fine.
Wait, what season are we on? Sorry, what season are you in here in Montreal? Everyone's done, caught up.
Oh, so you're good.
All right. You're welcome. Hi.
Hi again, I'm Michael again. My question is, what is like seeing Regina Hall and Evil Queen fighting against each other?
What is it like to watch?
Yeah.
Very difficult. Looking at myself, period, on camera is like, oh God, get me off, I don't want to see it. It's kind of a thing, right? It's like, you look at a photo of yourself, you're like, I look terrible, and everyone's like, you look amazing. It's just how we perceive ourselves sometimes. So it's hard for me to watch my work. But the experience of doing both roles for 17 episodes was something I never foresaw. And it was a huge learning curve for me. It also taught me how to direct. So I learned quite a bit, and that's what really gave me the idea and inspiration to then direct in season 7, which I ended up doing. So I learned a lot. It was hard as hell. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, portraying the two parts, and you know, people don't realize how much we filmed in one day, and how much we actually accomplish in a 9-day shoot, or 8-day shoot, kind of 9-ish. 9th day, you're doing 2 units. So it's tricky, but there was a lot of work, and my life just became Regina. Like, full stop. Yeah, I was her. I think Lana was somewhere buried in a suitcase.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
When you shoot 2 roles,
Well, it was hard because I'm so physical too, and I really think about the physicality as an expression of the character. So it was like I had to then think of what both characters are doing. They're different physical forms because they're different characters, and then also train my stand-in on how to move like me. So everything had to be thought out in advance, and then I had to train someone, and then I had to do my performance. And then I had to switch and go into hair and makeup as the queen, if we did Regina first for 2.5 hours, and then play the other side. So it was, yeah, it was special. Special. Hi. Oh, I can't hear you, love. Something happened with your mic. Okay, there you go.
Sorry, I'm like shaking. So I just want to say thank you, first of all, I'm sure on behalf of all of us for being such a great inspiration and being such a motivating person for all of us. And my question is, like, as you know, self-discovery and self-love is super important for personal growth, and I just want to know, what advice would you give to someone who hasn't quite reached that point, who's still looking for themselves and their purpose in life?
Are you an artist?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a book called The Artist's Way, and it's a 3-month course or commitment, and you'll discover a lot about yourself. Because sometimes we get stuck and we're like, I don't know what I want to do anymore, I feel so hopeless.
Yeah.
I think in those moments, literally jot down the things you like to do, and then just go do them. You know, it kind of gets you out of your head and gets you into the world, and kind of gets you into the present moment of experiencing joy and things that please you and make you happy. But this book will help you. It just kind of gives you some guidelines, and like, you know, if I weren't an actor, what else would I do? And then you're like, well, you know, I always wanted to be a marine biologist. I did. I think it's fascinating, ocean life, and so I was so intrigued, but I just obviously didn't go down that path. But when I did this course, it was like, I'm going to go to the aquarium, I'm going to go on a boat ride, I'm going to go feed that part of myself. So it helps you kind of discover your authentic sort of likes and dislikes, and then also pushes you to explore things you've never explored. I think that will really help kind of pull one out of their funk. And then there's also therapy. But the combo is awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Last year, Jennifer Morrison was here, and I asked her the same question I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
You've been on a lot of shows, and I would like to know, if you had to have a recurring role, what would it be, and why?
Trina from Swingtown. Because I love her, and I love that show, and it really deserved 5-6 years. And it breaks my heart that that show didn't continue. The music, the costumes, that's just everything about it was just so fun. And it was lighthearted, and after playing Regina, I feel like I need a little like some comedy or something. I started my career in comedy, and so I do miss comedy. But Swingtown was just really special, and I've been pushing Mike Kelly to do the movie for 10 years. I don't think it's going to happen. He wants to do the musical. I'm like, hire me. But I don't know what's happening there either. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And if you have not seen Swingtown, 2 things. On Amazon, you can watch it, and I believe it still has the original soundtrack. If you watch it on iTunes, I can't believe I'm saying all this. This is like so, I hope I don't get in trouble by iTunes.
No.
But by
It's Montreal.
Okay. Just give someone a bagel. Secure all. There's like an expiration date on, like music. So you can, I think it was there was like a 10-year contract on some of these songs. And so once that 10-year mark was up, iTunes then went in there and put their own music. And it's not the same. So, just a little tip for those who are interested in Swingtown.
When a show gets canceled, to me, it's one of the most frustrating things, especially if the story hasn't finished being told.
Yeah.
And I was a big fan of The Get Down.
Okay, yes.
And just be obsessed with New York City, and being obsessed with breakdance culture and hip hop history. The musical.
I love break-in. Do you love that movie?
Are you kidding me?
Sorry, I love breakdance.
Ain't no stopping us.
Ain't no stopping.
Ain't no stopping. I don't know what song you're
We're like, we're old.
I just want to hang out with you, okay? What's yeah, go ahead. Sorry, it's about you guys.
Hi, Lana. Hi. Nice to see you again.
And you.
I know we know
Nice to see you again. I'm going to take you down in Montreal.
Welcome to Canada.
Thank you.
We all know you're taking a little break right now. We're wondering if you ever thinking about going on Broadway, or like have any plans that like after or something like that.
I've been trying to get on Broadway for so long. I don't know who I need to knock over the head to make it happen. Probably wouldn't get the job if I did that, but I would love to do theater. And I've taken like a handful of meetings in New York, so we'll see. There's a part of me that is really considering moving back to New York for a while. So, yeah. And I was just there and like, I just feel normal in a city filled with crazy people. You're just like, yeah, like you can do anything. And everyone's like, whatever. You just don't stand out because everyone's just out of their minds, and it's just great. I love it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So,
Hi.
I really like your relationship with Zelina on the show. So my question is, what was your favorite scene to shoot with Rebecca on the show?
Oh my God, every scene. I love her so much. Oh gosh, honestly, it's a little different. I think one of my favorite things to do with Rebecca on Once Upon a Time was direct her last big episode. Oh, they called me and they said, do you think Rebecca will come back for your episode to direct her? And I was like, are you kidding? She absolutely will. And she did, and so that was my favorite thing to do with her, because I got to work with her on a different level. And as far as acting goes, probably the moment when we were saying bye. Is everyone caught up? Okay, because I hate spoiling, but I'm really good at spoiling. When we were saying bye to our mother, and we had our moment together, and it was just like, that moment where, it's like, put all BS aside. It's about our DNA and we're family, and that's important. And I think that the message is so critical. So, like those moments are my favorite on the show, when the lesson is so much bigger than a TV show. It's like a life lesson. It's a moral lesson. So a lot of those scenes, like the poignant scene between Regina and the evil queen in the mayor's office, and she goes, I love you because I finally love myself and I accept who you are, the darkness, the light, and then they come together, and it's really like, that's all they wanted, was to be accepted and loved, right? Like, those messages to me are so powerful. Those are my favorite moments on the show.
Hello. In a Freaky Friday situation, which two characters do you think would be the funniest to switch?
Wait, would be fun to switch?
The funniest if they had switched.
Probably Rumple and Henry. Can you see Bobby in that video with the scar? Sorry. Jared all like, hello, mommy.
It's almost as fun for watching your reactions to that from here.
Hello, mommy.
Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you.
Hi. So my question is, if Snow and Charming's food is tacos, and Hema and Hook is pancake, what would be for Regina and Robin?
Wait, Emma Hook are pancakes and who? Wait, Snow and Charming.
Snow and Charming was tacos in
Tacos.
season 2.
I mean, I think it's clear what Regina and Robin would be. A cheeseburger. Right?
Or a bagel.
I don't know, those two look like meat lovers. Yeah, he's a hunter.
They're not doing Beyond Meat.
No. Yeah, they're cheeseburgers. Everyone who knows me knows I'm obsessed with cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers?
It's just like a thing.
What's the best cheeseburger you've ever had? Can you remember where you had it?
You know, this is such a hard one, but my favorite combo, and it kind of varies. Actually, wait. There's a place I drove 45 minutes to just for this burger, and it's like a Western burger, which is beef, cheese, onion rings, and bacon with barbecue sauce.
That's it. It is noon.
Yeah, that's my jam. And it's called G-Burger, and it's in somewhere in California. I'm forgetting. Alhambra or something. Anyway, look it up. It's really good.
G-Burger. Got it.
Okay, hi.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
A celebrity crush? My celebrity crush is so... Wait, it's not gonna come out right. It's been a long time since I've been crushing on this celebrity. I'm very loyal. So I even, still love him through his old age. But my celebrity crush is Benicio del Toro. And when he was younger too, it was like,
But even
and his Puerto Rican.
I love the time.
It's like.
But even in Sicario, like he's so
talented.
Yeah, he's pretty.
That goes far with me. Like, you don't even have to be. Oh wait, my other one is Ed Harris.
Ed Harris?
Oh, I just love. He's so damn talented. It's the talent that gets me. The talent goes far. And my diehard crush when I was a young girl was Patrick Swayze. Because he was like, he rode horses and danced. And he loved his wife and was so loyal to her. And they were together till he passed on. And I just loved their relationship. And Paul Newman. another one. Okay, those are all my 6 celebrity crushes. Thank you for doing that, because I just went to this like beautiful place. Hi.
Between the burger and that.
I know the burger and Patrick Swayze. I'm like, kill me now.
First, sorry for my English.
No apology. Sorry for my bad French.
My question is, in your whole career, what was the most difficult scene to play and the funniest one?
It's been different in different moments of my life, but I would say one of the most difficult scenes I ever had to play was on Once Upon a Time, season 2, when the evil queen kills her father. For all those reasons. It was hard. And then technically it was hard as well because I was on a green stage. And I'd never been on a green stage like that before. And if you've ever seen one, it's huge. It's like a big hanger. And it's painted green, and it's the most awful color. And so you're like disoriented by the color whilst trying to stay in the moment and act of one of the hardest scenes I've ever had to do. And like, there's no walls. And it doesn't feel safe and intimate. It feels like you're a little tiny fish in a big green fishbowl. And I was very challenged in that moment to figure out how to create intimacy in a very short amount of time. And I figured it out. But it was really challenging.
And the funniest one?
What was the second question?
The funniest scene?
The funniest one was Rebecca and I in the car trying to stay focused on like the last day of work, and it was just not happening. I think they cut the scene out and it ended up somewhere in a blooper or something because it was just unusable. We knew our lines-ish, we had like 4 lines each, and then it was like, okay, we have to get there, we have to move quick. And then I step on the gas and it's like, and everything was comedic. We were in a photo shoot, a selfie photo shoot, and then like, I don't know, we were just out of control. I think at that point we were like, we've retired. The scene was never gonna get used. And we were right. That's okay. If you can do me a favor and bring your mouth closer to the mic. So I can hear you. I can't hear you though.
I have a question and kind of like a comment. I was going to say the other thing, but while you were talking. Do you think if Snow never told Cora about Regina's secret and like Daniel was alive, how do you think the show would have been different? Like, would you think Regina would still have casted her first eventually?
I think Cora still would have found a way to kill Daniel. She's a very determined woman, and she's scary. So I think she would have found another way to kill Daniel. I think her magic would have led her to them. I think she would have probably disguised herself as someone else and then poisoned him or something. Yeah, Cora she had one goal, and that was to make Regina queen. And she would not have stopped at, making that happen.
Also really happy that Michelle and Regina is like engaged with Robin, because I was so disappointed when he died.
Thank you. I'm having a hard time hearing you. I'm so sorry. Can anyone else hear her?
Do you think that, like, with Regina, she's glad that you got together with Robin? Because she was sad with Robin.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it was important for Regina to experience a healthy love.
Yeah. And before you were talking about like you don't know how much you filmed in one day, I did like a short film with this group that I'm in. It was like an activity.
Yeah.
And it was for like 3 minutes, and it took like 4 hours.
Yeah.
It was
Yep,
fun.
that is actually a short amount of time for 3 minutes.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure if it was exactly 4 hours, but it was still. But yeah, I love Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, the magic behind filmmaking. A lot of people don't really know what it's like, but it's a lot of work.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
because you had a lot of choreography you had to do and stuff.
That was so fun. Yes.
Did you find it difficult to like learn all the choreography and like work with props and everything?
I felt it challenging because I hadn't danced in like 12 years. So it was like, oh God, my muscles, and you know, Regina was so like stiff, like her body was so like, so kind of like loose. The Evil Queen was a little more loose than Regina, but kind of moving my body in that way took a second, and it was just like waking up the muscles to move and dance again. And I'm super obsessive and compulsive when it comes to my work. And so they were like, you have X amount of rehearsals. I'm like, double that, actually triple it. I was like calling, I'm like, I'll be there at 10. They're like, you're not due till 4. I'm like, see you at 10. You know, it's just like, I just loved it. I loved it. I loved the singing part of it. I loved it. It terrified me. And the things that scare me, I go towards, because I hate fear and I think it sucks. So I like wanted to overcome my fears, and I did. I'm not that I'm gonna break out in song and dance right now, but it was really fun. Oh, stop it. But it was a lot of fun. I loved that episode. Everyone did, and the whole energy on the set was like, oh my God, we're doing something different, you know? Everyone was singing everyone else's songs, the crew was like dancing, it was great. Everyone's like, all right, we got it, we had to be there. But it was fun. We wanted more musical episodes.
Thank you.
Hi. Season 7, you got to direct an episode.
Yes.
And I just wanted to know, as a first-time director going into it, 9-day production schedule, was there something about it that was even more challenging than you expected, or something that you thought would be really challenging that turned out to be, like with the system you had around you, actually not all that bad, or?
Yeah, I think it's kind of knowing when to move on. Like, meaning, like, okay, we got that shot, let's move forward, because TV, there's, well, I guess low budget and TV, anything like that, it kind of moves quick. I feel like now everything just moves really fast. We're trying to like jam as many scenes into one day, and budgets are getting cut, so you're challenged by that. Really more than anything, it's like making your day. Okay, I gotta get this 12-year-old out at this time. I only have her for 10 hours. All right, I gotta shoot this first. What am I willing to let go of? Which is always challenging. And then one thing that's a big lesson for me as an actor, being in the director's seat, was don't hold that production ever. Meaning, like, really, if when an actor takes too long in their trailer, or something's happening, or something in the makeup room, or hair is falling apart, or wardrobe isn't quite right, the director then has to rethink their day, because you're going to lose some shots. So it's like, all right, being quick on your toes and being, sort of okay with having to move things around and let things go, I think was part of my challenge. But I enjoyed it. And I love the like, no, get the hat rolling! And I never used that shot, but it was like, they're counting the seconds, they're like 20, 19, I'm like, don't talk, get the hat! The hat's being pulled by a string, and you're like, this is ridiculous. But I shot up until the very end, and then it was like, that's a wrap, and you got it or you don't got it. So, but that was fun. I loved it. I would love to do it again. I think filming on Once was a really good place for me to get my feet wet as a director, because it was such a safe environment. And everyone there was so supportive and willing to kind of take risks with me. I did shots that a lot of people didn't do in Ronnie's bar, and that was fun for me to come up with. Like, what angles haven't we seen? So I really enjoyed that.
It was a great episode.
Thank you.
We have two more questions.
Hi.
Okay, what great, well, that's not a
You have a double question combined in one.
Okay, a swirl cream, and you gotta, like,
Finish the sentence.
Yeah.
Swan Queen and I have a fetish design. That's what I heard.
Yes, finish that sentence.
I'm like, I have a fetish design of... I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Swan Queen?
She said Swan Queen finished the sentence.
Finish the sentence.
Like, create the sentence.
Is awesome.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, it's funny, a lot of people, so there's these ships, they started calling them ships. I guess it's like relationships that you support, that you can identify with. And Swan Queen is one of them, for those who don't know Swan Queen, which is the relationship between Emma and Regina. There's the Outlaw Queens between Robin and Regina. There's Rumbell. Obviously you know what that is. So I support all the ships, and I always have. And I think Swan Queen is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see Swan Queen fetish design. So, you know, it's gonna be like some techno music over it. Weird things we see.
Hi. Okay, first of all, I just want to say, girl, yes. Like, you
Oh
are
my God.
that.
Thank you.
You're
It's such a
so
little
pretty. Your
frizz ball.
hair is that. Your outfit is that. You're really doing it. So, yes. Like, yes.
Well, thank you. I'm embracing the Boricua, the Puerto Rican.
And I have a question for, like, this entire group who didn't want to ask a question. They wanted to know, like, if you could say something in French or talk a little.
Oh God, I wish I could. I don't know French at all. I mean, I know some, but it's like enchanté, je suis fatiguée when I'm but yeah, I don't really know. I'm determined, and then my other fantasy as of late has been like, maybe I should just move to Paris for 1 year and study French. So I'm thinking about that right now, but I have Lola. Lola determines what I do. My dog.
Your dog.
She's 11, so whatever she wants, we'll do. And I don't see Paris in her future right now.
Not.
She'd be like, Mom, I don't understand. Croissant.
All right, one
Thank
last
you.
question.
Thank you.
Hi, my question is, what was your favorite episode to film most of the time, and which person do you enjoy filming?
So my favorite episode was probably 614, because I mentioned that I really love the big messages in our show, and the one of self-love and self-acceptance to me is so powerful. So that's my favorite episode between Regina and the Evil Queen. It's my favorite message. It's not my favorite episode. It's my favorite big message and lesson. Favorite episode varies. I mean, my favorite moment, one of my favorite scenes is when Regina is in the jail cell and Mr. Gold is behind bars and she says, "What is your real name?" That to me, it was like, oh my God, where's the popcorn? You know, like, it's amazing. And he's like, Rumpelstiltskin, and you're like, oh, he's a I love that. And one of my favorite versions of the character that I played was probably the old hag, which I don't talk about ever. But I only got to play her for a brief moment in the Mad Hatter episode. And I played with this like Romanian gypsy accent, and this whole prosthetic face was just like, this is so cool. I looked so hideous and terrifying, and my crew was like so bugged out. They were looking at me going, it's weird, like you look like that, but then your voice is your voice. So it was fun to mess with people like that. And just to play something that was so different than what I look like, you know, to be covered with a different face was so cool. I don't know how often I could do that, but I would like the opportunity again. Not to play her, but like another character or something. No. With prosthetics.
Thank you. But you're going to be here, you're going to be signing, you're going to be doing photo ops, so make sure you go and check out this lady who has been absolutely generous and gracious with her time today.